Hey guys, welcome to another video. Summer has now basically ended here in the UK. It was nice while it lasted, like 1 week. But anyway, so the title of this video, a pretty important one to be honest, especially if you're considering a car like this, because it can catch you out sometimes, especially if you've come from a car, a non-performance car. When you buy a car like this, it's not just the overall value of the car that you need to consider, whether it's whether you've bought the car outright or if you're financing it and paying monthly payments. If you are a fairly young driver, in your early 20s for example, before you even consider buying a car like this, you need to check if you can actually get insured on it first. That'll probably be the single most expensive thing that you have to consider in the first year of owning a car like this, really. For myself, it was in quadruple digits. I can imagine for most people, especially if you're early 20s, it's probably going to be quadruple figures to insure it for the year. Now obviously your postcode and other various bits and pieces do affect your insurance premium, but it's just something that, check that before you actually buy the car. The next thing you're going to need before you can really drive legally on the roads is road tax. My BMW 1 Series before this, that was just a very low powered 2-litre diesel. It was 30 quid a year, which was barely anything. I've not had to pay road tax on this just yet. It came with 1 year's worth of road tax from the dealership, but it's somewhere, I think it's a few £100 straight away. It's basically 10 times higher than a normal average diesel car that you might see on British roads. Now those are two fairly substantial costs that you've kind of got to pay before you've even driven the car for 1 mile. The next thing you need to consider after that, I suppose, will be your increased petrol usage. I do a mixture of driving and I get on one tank between, I don't know, probably around 300 miles. So if you're using it as a daily and you do a lot of miles, you might do 200-300 in a week, you'll be going to the petrol station once a week, and on top of that you shouldn't really be putting in the cheap stuff. You should be trying to put the expensive stuff in because it's supposedly better for your engine. It's higher octane fuel, generally stops things like engine knock. I won't go too much into detail because I'm no chemical engineer, but in general, go for the better things in life anyway. So you just saw me fill up there. It cost slightly under £50, and that wasn't for a full tank. That was just for 3/4 because I had just over a quarter left. You can do the maths for how much it would cost for a full tank. Obviously, the better fuel is more expensive, price you have to pay. Another thing to take into consideration is if you live near a lot of tunnels and you've got an AMG Mercedes of any kind, because what you're going to do is stick everything into Sport Plus mode. And you're going to do stupid things like that, and if you do that a certain number of times a day, add that over a week, you might be making two trips to the petrol station. Next thing you need to take into consideration is annual servicing costs. I think they're every year for AMG Mercedes. Correct me if I'm wrong, someone, but you definitely need to do one within a year or 10,000 miles, and it is a bit of a rip-off. you do pay an AMG price. My first service was just over £400, and all they did was basically change some oil, did a few checks, and they didn't do £400 worth of work, but it's not much you can do about it. All the dealers are basically around that £400 mark, so you can't really avoid it. So that's something to factor in. The next thing you're going to need to keep an eye on is tyres. This thing eats through tyres quite quick, and although this is a four-wheel drive car, it's kind of like a fake four-wheel drive. It's a Haldex system, so what that means is it's front-wheel drive 90% of the time. It's only four-wheel drive when the front loses grip. So what that means is, when you're sending 380 horsepower through the front wheels most of the time, they do get worn down pretty quick, and that's what I found. I've already had to change the front tyres. I think they lasted about 10,000 miles. I don't drive particularly hard. I've not done a track day or anything. But yeah, so you're looking at this car has 19-inch wheels, so you're looking at between 150 to 300 pounds per tyre, depending on what you go for. So I've got Continentals on, they're about 200 pounds. If you're looking at the Michelin Pilot, whatever the hell it's called, they're closer towards that 300 pound mark per tyre, so that's something to factor in. The rear tyres still have about 4mm of tread left, which is quite a lot, I think I'll probably get another at least a few thousand, maybe 5,000 more miles from the rears. There's more chance of going through another set of fronts than the rears. And with performance cars in general, this is more of a personal thing. When you get a performance car, you tend to do stupid things to it, which I've done that. I've wrapped the car, I've done all kinds. That is a really strange colour day class. I don't know if you saw that. My car still is under warranty, so the things that have gone wrong with it, they've been fixed. Free of charge, etc. So if you bought a car that's out of warranty, you can expect replacement parts to be quite expensive, plus the labour, etc. What is going on here? But if you are considering a car like this, the three biggest expenses that you'll need to factor into being able to afford the car, I suppose, is, particularly if you're a young driver as well, insurance, servicing costs, and tyres. Really, they're the three biggest things that kind of need to be done almost every single year. And when you add them all together, you're looking into the thousands, so it's not exactly cheap. Anyway guys, as usual, I hope you found this video insightful in some way, shape or form. If you did, give it a thumbs up, comment down below, and make sure to subscribe for future videos. Thanks for watching, guys.